Okay, so welcome to the Code 2022. It's a framework to create an understanding of, through the numbers, through the numerology of the year, of what to expect, what is going to be revealed, what is the coloring of the coming months and the year, and how we can actually work with it and take a better advantage out of this timing and its flavor. So each year has a flavor, and we're going to dive right into this year. So just a little bit of a background. Numerology as a system is a system that is non-dual. It's a tantric system. It has 11 bodies of energy that look at reality through the 11 numbers. It's different than some of the other traditional numeric system because it adds, other than 1 to 9, because we have 1 to 9 numeric values, it adds the number 10 and it adds the number 11 as an extra flavor to an experience. So it has an 11 bodies of patterns or energy. So basically, we're going to look at the Dharma, or the knowledge of numbers, as it reveals itself through this year. So numbers has a certain context or knowledge. And any reality that we're experiencing has a seen and unseen realities. And numbers actually shows what's below the dashboard. If we were talking in the context of a car, the mechanic of the car, we don't really care for it, but life itself has a mechanic, has a certain pattern that we move by. So each one of us has a chart and has a mechanic that we clock ourselves in our experience and reality. But the collective, the year itself, and months by months, has a certain flavor as well that we all going to experience as a collective. So there's a difference between your experience in your chart and the experience of the year. However, the experience of the year is something we all going to experience, and we're going to handle it differently because each one of us has a different characteristics and different patterns that we hold individually. If there's something that I'm saying doesn't land, then just text. So 2022 is a really special year. It's a special year. And before we skipping to that, I want to ask you, I want to write you down, what would you like to leave behind? And don't overthink. Some of the things that we look at are questions too. So 2022, what are the things that you would like to leave behind in your experience to kind of step into that? So just think for a second, write it down. Don't overthink it, okay? What was your experience in 2021? What would you like to change in 2022? Write down 3 areas you want to be different. Don't overthink it. Just do it. Just write it down, whatever comes to your mind, okay? This is really important because whatever comes to your subconscious immediately is probably the things that are mostly important to you. And I like you to actually interact with the information as though it's a living information. It's a practical information. So the relevancy of this point in time is really interesting. We completed a 9-year cycle in 2019, and we basically in the middle zone of a 9-year cycle that started in August of 2019 and is going to be completed in 2027, 2028. So cycles, the numeric cycles goes in the intervals of 9 flavors. And we are in the middle zone of a 9-year cycle. So we kind of not exactly, we're almost in the middle of 2022. We're going to be halfway of a 9-year progression, so in 2019, all of us kind of started to something new. We started in terms of consciousness. The last quarter of 2019, we all started something new. It's now that new consciousness that we started to experience is in its, you can say, adolescence in terms of its cycle. It's not mature yet, but it's getting to a place where it's starting to form a structure. So the mystery of 2022 is very significant because it's a year that we're going to start to form a consciousness or really conviction around our creative and spiritual pursuit. It's a time where it's starting to form itself into a structure, into more of a vision or a big picture. 22, and we're going to go into that so you don't have to wonder about it. 22 in general is a significant number. So in numerology, we have an extra layers of information that provides a significant information. Like for instance, 13 is a significant number. 22 is a significant number. They both reduced to 4, but that 4 will be experienced differently. A 13, a 4 that comes out of 13 will be experienced differently than a 4 that comes out of 22 or a 4 that comes out of 31. So I'm just trying to explain. The actors, I call it this year, are the numbers of the year. Okay? So we have a code which is 2022. So it has a lot of 2s, repetitions of 2s. It has a 0 there. So the millennia is amplified. That 0 amplified. It's 2 and 0. And then the decade section is under the vibration of 2-2. 2020, I'm going back. 2020 was a year of zeroing out. Zeroing out means everything was flattened. It's relationship, values re-examined. Diplomacy was out of the window. 2 is associated with conflicting notions and trust. That was also, we still kind of recovering out of it and will be challenged in it in this coming year as well. That's an interesting year. So 2022 is the big picture. And we're going to go into that in a second. Moving through everything that has to do with our big picture, big vision, idea of how we see ourselves, will be moving through connection, collaboration, and active farewell to the past. A lot of us are still holding to something from the past that is not really that vital. relationship from the past, desired from the past, ideas that maybe will go back to something that we liked when we were 10. I'm just making it up, but I'm trying to give you an example. This past is not going to come back. And when we are having all these twos, is basically the active way is to actually actively see what is the relevancy of something from the past to the current moment. So actively leaving the past behind in order to create some new initiative. And this new initiative this year is big. Last year, 2021, was highly creative, impulsive. We tested a lot of things. We tried different things. It still has the ramification of this impulsiveness, and it had caused a lot of great things and also a lot of changes, physical changes. The zero in the 2022 is an amplifying factor. It's a zero that amplifies any number that attached to it. So all these twos going to be highly active this year. Highly. As I said before, everything will move through relationships, collaborations, and leaving the past behind, testing who are the people and the collaboration that we still needs to hold to heart and nurture, and which ones, collaboration and connection, that we need to let go of. As a body of energy, the number 2 is associated with what we call the negative mind. Negative mind is not about negativity. The negative mind is about the area of discernment, the area of looking at what can I trust, what can I work with, what can I connect with. The negative effect of 2 is distrust, no collaboration, and it can be also the aspect of creating conflict. 2, if you think of 2 points, 2 dots, between 2 dots, there is a line. It's either there is a connection between dots, 2 dots, or it's broken. 2 represent protection, to represent caring, diplomacy. It represent harmony. Okay? So I want you to think about it. The 22 characteristic, the double 2, it's indicated the archetype of a master planner, the architect, I would say the film director, the visionary who wants to see a different world. It's the ability to envision a big picture of any given situations. It's large realities. So this year is about the potential of large realities, projects, cities, new technology that will create a whole other way of living. We're already in it. It's all a powerful capacity, yet there is a downside to that capacity. The double 2 means great visions. It will include people and collaborations and collaborators. It will include the group. The double 22 is a double 11 as well. So the double 11 in 22 is indicate spiritual mastery, dreaming, envisioning, foreseeing. Where do I want to inspire self and others? Now, I want to talk about the double 11 is really important because 11 is a higher octave of 2. So the potential for out of this chart creating a new reality is 1, but also the double 11 out of this chart creating new extreme, because 11, when it goes negative, it's about being extreme, being fanatic. So fanaticism is a shadow aspect hidden in the 22. It's coming this year. The negative pole of 22 as well is being caught or being conflicted by the details of the big picture. Losing sight, as we said, there's a phrase, losing sight of the forest by counting every tree. So if you find yourself starting to lose sight of your big vision, you need to actually come back to it. Make your big vision something that is visible in your environment so you can actually tap back into, why am I doing all these little things? Aha, I'm doing it because I have a bigger picture I want to pursue. Now, 22, the characteristic, the negative is big vision. It's someone who dreams cities, dreams planets. The pitfall is, if we take an architect or we take somebody who visions cities, is starting to look at the frames of the windows and the nails that you need to use and research everything around that, instead of going back, is that actually serving the big vision? So the pitfall is starting to get caught or lost in the details. I'm going to repeat this through this presentation a couple of times, because this is something we all do. We all getting caught in the unimportant triggered things, most of them associated with the past, and we lose sight of what is the growth and the pursuit that we want to create. Okay. This cycle will provide, this year cycle will provide many opportunities to be bold and take big visions into reality. However, it needs to have a structure, it needs to have a plan, and it needs to have a breakdown. So if you are the kind of person that doesn't know how to deal with structure or a plan or a breakdown, you better actually start to basically exercise that muscle so you can actually make things happen. People that do not have a plan or follow through usually at one point fall short to move through what they envision for themselves. They stop short. They have a great vision, they lose sight of the greater plan. Okay. The cycle you see here is about planning, big picture, and a roadmap for the years to come. I'm not exaggerating. We're in the middle of a 9 cycle where completion will occur in 2027, 2028. So in that realm, we are actually now, whatever desires or passion we start to have a glimpse of, especially in 2021, we're going to need weighing the pros and cons and forming some sort of a plan and milestones to create practical context to what we want to create for ourselves. Now, the big plan will have impact on a lot of other people, and we're all in it. Now, as I said before, The double twos is a cycle of collaboration, cooperation. It's in a 22 time cycle. One need to aim high because it's a spiritual number as well. So spirit can affect the master plan, create the seeds to benefit many. So all these twos is about relationship, collaborations. You want to think about how whatever I'm providing affect other people, and what kind of vision I would like to create around it. Okay. Again, do not get caught in the details. The glass of the window is not important. It's like what kind of building and who gonna live in it is the thing to focus on. The 11 factor is, so 11 is a master number by itself, and 22 has a double 11. So that master number is going to affect everything. The shadow side of it, and we'll see it, we already see some of it, because the whole millennia is affected by that 2-0. That 2-0 will change when it will be 2100 the year. It will shift. But till then, there is that 0 associated with 2 and associated with cooperation versus duality, conflict versus creating harmony and diplomacy. But this year is a sense of higher calling, and you'll see it in many, many factors. You will see it in leadership, you'll see it in government, you will see it in areas of people coming together to change things. Some people will come together to change things for the worth, but there will be many. The collective, we're going to look at it, is going to be also about creating enough mass that has to do with fairness and justice. So 22 comes to 4. So the flavor is the big picture, a master plan. Do I have a master plan? You need to ask yourself. So 22, a 4, underneath it there is a 4. It's structure, it's work, it's accountability and responsibility. 4 cycle is focused on the task at hand. So if you kind of discover a few things that this is what you want to create yourself, you better have a plan. A 4-year is a year that has to do with harder work. So if you kind of the lazy side of things, if you kind of lazy by nature, I'm not judging it. If you have a tendency to kind of say, oh, I'm going to work a little bit, but then I'm going to not do anything, this year will kick your ass, because you need to pay attention and you need to create a rhythm that you engaging. So it's not, 4 has to do with neutrality as well. So it's the balance between pushing and relaxing. It's finding a rhythm that is not like overkilling yourself and then not doing a thing for a week. It's finding a rhythm that is steady and creating a process and a service on a steady base. If I'm not making sense, just let me know that. Now, I want to say something. 4 is it's an interesting place as well, because 4 is associated with creating, it's in a benefit position. So that's good news. So 4 is in a benefit position. Benefit position means working hard, being of service will be beneficial if you really put yourself into that position. Being steady, dependable, and trustworthy is very important. So it's really interesting to make sure that you actually create a dependable way of creating. You basically know how to create a steady rhythm, and you create a trustworthy of yourself. Because here's the thing, when it comes to 4, which is structure and form and work, trustworthiness is everything. Trustworthiness is everything. Also, 4 has to do with the element of words. What words we say to ourselves, say to others. So pay attention to the internal conversation you have with yourself ongoingly. It will be loud, and it's better be good one, as well as what words you're using and providing to others. Now, we have the number 6 because if you take 2022 and collapse it, it's a 6. And that 6 has a past life position. It's an important number to consider as well. It's not the main, so the main quality of this year is the 22 or a 4. It's structure and form. And that 4, I want to say something else about that 4. That 4, if you are strict with yourself, that 4 may make you a little bit more rigid and stricter. If you are a person that likes rules, it will make those rules even come more pronounced. So the thing is to avoid rigidity, but not to avoid a structure that moves your ideas and plans forward. 6th, past life position suggest that this experience of this year will be colored by positive change in the areas of fairness, in the areas of protecting the weak, in the areas of protecting the ones who are not advantages in our society. 6 has to do also with the power of prayer. It has the notion of an experience of many lifetimes of being under protection. So the act of protection will be active. 6 has to do also with elements of home, the tribe, the group, the collective. So in the background of all these collaboration and relationship, which everything will move through, in the area of structure and form, in the area of planning, in the area of service, that 6 will color it in the area of who we consider as our protective group, who are we consider as our family. You know, some of us has a blood family, but some of us has a family that we consider this is our family. So that 6 will color that part as well. So there is a beneficial number as well this year, and the beneficial number is 10. It's the benefit of basically inspiration, of nobility, of the power of royalty, or the power of nobility in the sense of values. 10 is the amplification of the soul body of one, which is about taking risks, about taking chances, about being a 10, being a level of perfection, creating responsibility and inspiration on a universal level. So we have, you can say this year we have extra courage, extra potential for leadership. Leadership will be beneficial. So the fact that we all here having this conversation means we are up for taking on more the sense of leadership. In the area of health, our nervous system was very affected this last 2 years. The 10 is the nervous system, and it means that we have extra ability to be more resilient, take risks, and be brave. So if you have like this 10 somewhere in your chart, that you are kind of avoiding risks or being too cautious about things, or 10 is about leadership as well, or avoiding leading, you need to look at it this year, because you have an opportunity to step into that zone of taking on more in the area of inspiring other people. The sum of 2022 has to do with vision, inspiration, practical plan, broken down to manageable steps, service in mind. 4 has to do with service, has to be with neutrality. 4, people who has 4 in their chart, we call them pillar of society. It's people who are actually being of service. So it is a year of service. It's a year of service under a bigger vision. 4 has to do with the heart. So maintaining open heart and using our words wisely. That's a sum of a positive potential in this year. However, all these 2s and the double 11 there of 22 will create some conflict, will create some working with difficult people, opposition. So the thing is actually to learn how to agree in disagreement, connect even when we don't appreciate the opinion or the stature of someone else, finding something that will make a connection, basically. Practical application of 2022, we're going to go into, don't worry, we're going to go into a monthly cycle as well in a minute. But here's some practical application in that sense. 1 is to leave the past behind so you can create a legacy for yourself that is beyond your past achievements and beliefs. Whatever was achieved in the past is in the past. It doesn't matter right now. The thing is to be really discerning, and 4 in general demands breakdown to manageable steps. So if you are a person that see things immediately and have a vision, you need to learn how to break your vision to manageable action, to practical manageable action. Otherwise, you will leave your big idea aside and walk to the next big idea, and so on. The thing is to thrive, to harmony and balance in your environment and life is avoiding any conflict or duality. Collaboration is a key factor this year, key factor, and trust. First, to trust yourself. So the thing is about trust is like any self-doubt needs to be thrown out of the window. If you have a self-doubt, look at what will make you trusting yourself and your ideas. Use the power of words for your own goodness and for protection. The area of careers, a lot of this 4 and 22 has to do with the beneficial of the many. Community organizer, architects, public speaker, poets, using words to create worlds. Because 4 is about using words to create a world. Lecturers, writers, spiritual leaders. I mean, I can go 4 represent the archetype of the builder, social worker, the architect, the planner, but also big visions or big pictures can be about storytelling. All of us, some of us who are storytellers, take your story to build a vision. 6 brings beauty and fairness, bring the law and the sense of community. So in the area of career, the law and the sense of community will benefit lawyers, will benefit anybody who's dealing with fairness, activists, but it has a sense of beauty as well. So art in the act of service will be beneficial. Art in the act of service. So souls that are under 4, if you have a 13 in your chart, if you have a 4 in your chart, 22, you were born on the 31st. Know that your 4 is always saying there is an order and a process. So there's an order and a process is a good sentence for all of us in that sense. But the cautionary side of that is don't get caught in too many rules, regulations, or conditions that will make the process rigid. In the area of relationship and partnerships, there has to be more of a spiritual connection. Spirit, because it's not just 2, there's double 11, there's bigger picture. So people that are either in a relationship or about to go into a deeper commitment in relationship need to think about what you would like to build together. What are we building? Who are we building it for? What is the community that we're building it with? Really important not to sweat the small stuff. And the area of service in relationship, the act of service, serving one another, will benefit relationship or partnership tremendously. Taking risks together will create a different experience and a different spiritual level for any relationship or partnerships this year. The area of money, one needs to think about a greater vision for investments or for building something that is financially viable. 2021 was a short-term reaction and thinking when it comes to investing something. And investing doesn't have to be just money. Investing in service has a money outcome. Investing in service has a money outcome. Investing in loyalty has a money outcome. So these values that comes from the four, loyalty and service, has a financial ramification. Even if you do something that is not necessarily service, but how you do it, how you serve your clients, how you address your clients is part of service. Also, in the area of money, if you have a plan, taking a risk will be beneficial. If you have a plan, do not take a risk without a plan. They're also in the consistent way of working, because 4 demands consistency, steady rhythm, consistent way of working will be beneficial financially. So to make it this year, to enjoy this year more, as the next 8 decades, by the way, it's focus on connection, on understanding, harmonizing self and others, and actively leaving the past behind. Do not assume anything because something worked a week ago. Maybe it needs to be discussed differently right now. Now, before we go into the monthly cycle, if you have any questions, just type it in. I feel I covered most of the flavor of the year as it is, but if there's something that you are kind of wondering about, for instance, one thing that I want to point out in terms of climate, 2s associated with water. So water issues will rise. These patterns of 2 is really strong. So if we not spiritually, actively will change our relationship with water, climate change, or do something, water level will rise tremendously in 2022. And issues of water will come much more pronounced. So we're going to the monthly vibrations. So months are a progression that create a milestone or flavor within the context of the year cycle. So a monthly cycle create a specific additional flavor. Just think of it as if the year has, let's say, orange glasses, the monthly, for instance, January may have a blue glasses, and that will create a green experience. Or I'm taking colors because it's the easiest thing for me to give as an analogy. So the monthly vibrations of 2022 are all in the context of this big picture of vision, master plan, work in mind, service, structure and form, and the ability to create manageable steps, one step at a time, manageable step, one step at a time. If you are not actually familiar with breaking down your goals into manageable steps, let's start practicing it right now. So as we enter in January, by the way, we're living 2021 on a better note, I would say, because this month's December creates much more of a connection and creative social attachment that is kind of special. And as we enter January, we're going to start the year running with the element of change, physical change. So I actually would like to encourage you in the next week, 2 weeks, start to actually outline some plan, something to plan with, because January will come like a surprise. This January is like, it's like you will need to be flexible, yet grounded. It's under the cycle of 5, and it's associated with physical change. It's associated with adventure. Make sure you take time alone as well to reevaluate your experience. Self-care, taking care of your physical body will be very important. By the way, the influence number of 6 has to do with the immune system, but it is associated with of the year, is associated with the capacity to be protected. So eventually that immunity will increase. The thing is with January, it's a physical experience. The physical condition of the earth will be under challenge, especially in the area of travel. So if you are traveling in January, make sure that you are flexible in changing plan, make room for errors. You need to actually also diffuse that physical movement with creating clearer boundaries, creating discernment. Beneficial acts in January will be creative writing. Make sure that you infuse humor. Don't get too serious about your vision, and the fact that change the physical movement of our experience together in January may interfere with your plan. Laugh about it. Take it as okay, I need to be flexible. I need to change some of my plans here. It has the element of discovery, January, especially in terms of like what inspires you as a greater picture or vision. Okay. As we move to February, I would say February has a rhythm of relationship to begin with. So the thing is, will be, am I connected to self and to my group, my community? It will be flavored in terms of like your big vision associated with family, community, creative decoration, reconfiguring living situation. So let's say if you are like on a pattern of in between places, it's better start to envisioning where is my base, so to speak. February brings healing and business opportunities. It's the influencing energies of the month, especially when it comes to the group. It's a time to take also any legal matters into action and completion. So if you have in February, if you haven't completed a contract or agreement or something is legally pending, this is the time to take action around it, not to ponder around it. It's also it will require us to make more choices quickly. And when it comes to unresolved issues, legal issues, or issues that has to do with security, any sort of plan or structure and form, what is the step to do that, will be extremely beneficial. As we moving into March, March has to do with this March around has to do with, do I feel positive? Because March can be a little bit melancholy this year. So the area of positivity will be really important to enhance. It's also, this coming March is associated with internal space or internal inquiry. It's internal configuration. So here's the thing, we started January, physical change. There's actually changes. We're starting to actually implement plan to actually change. Coming February, we're having this home and community aspect and so on. And March is an internal space. It's a time to reconfigure our bigger vision. So visions are, or the big picture, or our commitment is a work in progress. And March provides an opportunity for internal observation. It's taking time to reevaluate your big vision for the coming years. And when you actually create a time to do so, you will come up with some incredible, unpredictable answers for your own vision and journey. You need to really look at the answers within and watch out for a tendency to doubt yourself and doubt others. That internal sense, here's the thing, March is actually has a tendency to tend to others, to be social. But this year, it's quite about the self. Giving time for yourself, it's a great timing to go and do a retreat for a week, or to go and do something that is different than the 4 patterns of working consistently, creating a rhythm, because by February, you're going to create a certain rhythm for your vision and for your output. So in March, you want to create a plan for a pause, a constructed pause, not an impulsive one, something that you can actually see and sit and actually reconfigure what you would like to create. It's also when we actually entering like this internal time, the tendency for melancholy is there. So the idea of uplifting yourself through music, singing, and play will be very important. In the base of that month, we have the aspect of completion and mastery. It's basically the opportunity to let go of any elements or collaborators that are obstructing our vision. I'm going to repeat this. And this is like the active act of basically letting go of the past and letting go of collaborations that are not aligned with that 22, with that master vision, master architecture. So letting go of these elements has to do with either areas that we are distracting ourselves, areas that people that are not actually supporting our vision, or obstructing our vision. So that's in the base, and don't get too serious about it either. Do it from a place of fun, and know that when you're letting go of some people or collaborators or elements that distract you, you're actually creating more room for the things that are important to come through. It's a year in general to be methodical. And the question a lot of time will be to ask, is my vision is grounded in reality? Is my vision, my plan, is grounded in reality? Especially creative people, it's easy for them to dream. It's easy for them to create a fantasy. It's harder to make that fantasy bounded by structure and a plan and a set of action. So just watch for that. As we're moving into April, April brings you can say it's awakened the pranic body, or the body of energy, or the body of life force. Pranic body has to do with two areas, has to do with money and has to do with health or energy. So there is like money opportunities in the areas of service, in the areas of our bigger idea for who we're working with. And there's also, it's an opportunity to create more healing for ourselves and for others, as well as taking on some leadership roles. So money-related issues will come to the area, to the surface. Usually money-related issues are happening for the lack of planning. Unfortunately, or fortunately, we're dealing with a structure that we need to think about what things cost us and how do we need to plan for them. So if you not actually actively have a plan around money and your vision, you better work on it when it comes to that month. Also, April will bring some struggle in the area of leadership and authority. It's a good opportunity for money-making ideas, but also for planning around finances. Making choices, 8, or the pranic body, has to do with choice making. Some of us are the greatest stallers of choice making. We stall, we wait for the last minute. Waiting for the last minute of things is an act of self-sabotaging. And that's like money, planning for money is not waiting for a miracle. Luck is something you can cultivate through a vision and a plan and a set of action and an engagement, even at times that you don't like to be engaged. So here's the thing. As I said before, in the area of money this year, services that are actually associated with with consistency and accountability will benefit financially. So without a structure, especially in April, our services will be futile. Here's the thing, it's like we have as a potential, as a gift this year, the ability to actually serve more people, to be consistent. There is a gift there, but April brings the struggle of creating a structure around that. So the double 4 in April, if we don't have a plan, we will be challenged in the area of finances. Also, the pranic body associated with leadership and control. So if you want to have control, don't get too attached to it. Be attached to the big picture, to what you want to create. If somebody else wants to help you and take control on what you want to create, welcome it. Because authority issues may come up in April. And leadership or inspiration, or your ability to inspire others and take risks, will be beneficial. Will be beneficial. Now, the thing is, April is also influenced by perfection. So your plan does not have to be perfect. Your plan does not have to have all the details. Your plan has to have a vision that is clear. The details will come out and will gather around it as you progress. Now, May is a really interesting time because May and June, we're getting to a completion cycle, mastery cycle, under the auspice of 9 and 10. So something that started in September 2021 needs to come to a completion, and you need to look at what it may be for yourself. It's time to eliminate. May brings opportunity to eliminate things that do not serve the big picture. Like if you have a big vision, but you like other hobbies, other things that are not actually associated with it, you may have to say, you know what? I like these hobbies, but my big vision, my bigger purpose is more important. You'll have to make a choice and let go of it. This type of house clearing, it's going to happen at home as well, will continue through the third week of June. So May is colored by what needs to be mastered when it comes to my big plan, my double 11, my double sense of inspiration and purpose. And I will tell you that since it's a 22, it will be experienced sometime as a loss, this completion cycle, because some people will leave the arena of our big vision. And some areas that we are not yet, or we're not interested in anymore, or not support our big vision, will go away. Now, the danger with a completion cycle is to be reactive it's to be too antsy about completion and change. So the thing is, it will require a little bit more patience and a little bit more clearing of what are the steps in your service, in your work, that needs to be more complete and more tidy. So I said on the slide, few of your team members will leave the scenery. The thing is also is to avoid any doubt. There is an 11 in the base of that month's chart. And since this year has this configuration of hidden 11, 11 means that doubt will be present in May. And when doubt is present, you want to focus on what inspires you versus what is not working or what is conflicted. So it's really important to focus on where can I be inspired, where can I take risks in the midst of this completion cycle. So I said before, this will take you through the third week of June, because completion cycle on the numeric map is the longest time cycle, whether it's yearly or monthly. So it's a month and 3 quarters. So it's about towards the beginning of the 4th week in June, it will continue. And it's an opportunity to clear basically your deck, to clear the space for your bigger picture to take root. And it means, especially in June, that your community or group may change. The thing is to focus on what nurture you in June, because you'll be in the outlook for a new tribe, or a new tribe will seek you out. New seeds of opportunity will come, especially the last week of the months, where you will feel that whatever you need to complete is complete, and a clearer version of your big picture, of your skyscraper, is coming together. It's really important in June to take care of all your eating, diet disorders, because the base of that month's chart, it will have to be associated with one, taking care of other people first, and your dietary habits. So make sure that you learn how to nurture yourself first so you can be of service, and part of your service work can be beneficial and help other people. And so you can actually really take care of other people, and also make sure that your eating habits are beneficial. They're helping you versus destructing your big picture. So the last week in June starts a new 9-month cycle. It means that within that aspect of your vision, your big picture, you're starting to actually see a lot of benefit coming to play. Really important to be discerning. Also, really important to make sure that you're truthful to your vision that month, that you have a conviction about it. You are not actually lukewarm about it. You really developing conviction associated with that month, with your vision in June. So as we enter July, this is really an interesting month. As we enter July, it's a month that is associated with that 11. It's inspiration, it's spiritual mastery. Spiritual mastery means that you are either in tune to what inspires you. You want to take and create and engage in this, in a doctorate program or in a bigger vision for yourself, or really engage in greater service for others, or you are conflicted about it. So, especially in matters of the heart, it can bring a lot of conflicting areas in July. So the thing is, the challenge in July is to focus on what inspires you versus what kind of repels you to be opinionated about yourself, or basically to be conflicted about your choices. In a year of, I'm going to read this, in a year of double spiritual mastery, it's an opportunity to connect to what inspires us the most in July and take our vision and plan to a different level. Here's the thing, it's really important. Areas of fantasy reality dynamics will come up because it's the foundation of that month's trust. And that's where being real and being planned around fantasy will be really important. Work and ground will basically fuel a bigger vision. Be really, in July, be really focused on the reality of your vision, not fantasizing or daydreaming about it. It's an opportunity to follow through, especially when there is like this strokes of inspiration. It's an incredible month to actually tap into this inspiration and push a little bit further than you think you're capable pushing. It's also a good time to be inspired to take a chance, to take risks when it comes to your vision. 11 on the material plane, on the physical plane, there's spirit. 11 is spirit, but there underneath it, 1 and 1 is 2. There will be a potential to meet people that inspired us and we connect with as well in July. So just be open to that. As we move to August, August is creativity itself. August provides to make some choices, but it's a highly social and creative month. As a matter of fact, it's very expressive month. Public speaking, being public with your creative aspect, with your creative services, with your creative product, is a really month to actually take it publicly. There's a physical and mental component in the base of the month's chart. So there's a change there. And when we have that vibration, this is really important. When we have a vibration where we are challenged in terms of like our power. We'll be challenged in the areas of power and the area of discernment. We may actually decide suddenly to back off our big vision and our plan. So make sure that you take the steps and the additional actions to commit yourself more to your journey or your purpose, your path. Because you'll be challenged in the areas of following through with your master plan. When a year focused on work and service, you may be strayed away and say, well, maybe I should go for a trek in Montana. Maybe I should not do a thing and just go to that festival that I like. Don't get swayed away by that. That's not going to be, it's going to be a delay in your 22. And some of us will have that delay happens. So in general, the lessons is avoid any drama and impulsiveness. Transfer your creative process into output. Break it down to steps. Find your humor and play in that too. In the base of the chart, the month chart, take care of your physical self and physical environment. And as we move to September, September will bring another challenge into sticking to our plans. It's like it has that, this September has that focus of 4, of hard work, of creating a pattern or dynamic or rhythm of work and process. And the challenge will be to stick to our structure and form. When this September comes, you may like to open the back door and to kind of step away from your purpose and do something else. It's time to reassess your big vision and new initiative and create more structure for accountability and reality. Because in the heart area, September will bring the element of illusion and fantasy. And illusion and fantasy means it will invite some people that are not really supporting our big service or structure. We'll invite people that will think, oh, they're great, they have a great resume, they have a great this, great that, and we'll find ourselves in the mercy of cons. So you need to be much more real at this juncture and basically see what is the reality. Is people that I'm engaging with, because it's all these two, these people that I'm engaging with are actually following through, or they just talk about what they can do for me, or they're actually following through with some actions and abilities that are actually forwarding my master plan. So it's also will be beneficial to create a display of your master plan around you. So you actually are called to create that reality, and creating also some physical environment that support your work at this point in time and support your direction. Also, the influencing like the year influencing number of September is a 6. So focus on that reality of creating accountability through teamwork. Teamwork is really important at this point in time, and making sure that the people that collaborate are there for you in their words and actions. Because talk at this point in time will be cheap. October is like a month that requires, can I pull everything off? It's a very special month in 2022. It has a higher vibration of two numbers, number 32 and the number 16. 16 is in 3 places in October's chart. 16 has to do with kindness and forgiveness. It's letting go, the opportunity to let go of past attachment. It's the vibration of October in the context of the master plan, or the big work, so to speak, has to do with that master plan becoming a living way of living. It's basically taking it on as a teaching by itself. Because when you actually start to connect to your big vision and to your purpose, at one point, the way you experience it and the way we experience it and the way we talk about it are the same. So October has that potential where our vision and experience will be the same. It's really important to, in October, to provide yourself time alone. It's great timing to teach something you're passionate about, or to service through communication in some form, or create a service that is also the experience, have people learn something in October. November of 2022 is another special month. So we have a year that is significant because 22 is that 2 11s. November has triple 11s, highly spiritual. It's the ultimate ability to take care of more souls than you can imagine, whether it's in a small scale of your family community or globally. It's interesting because November is an election month in 2022, and on the political thing, it means that there will be a collective change that is fundamental, that is drastic. It will be a kinship of spirit that we didn't see for a long time. And it's going to bring a collective effort as well as an inspired sense of the whole. It's the team, the family, the tribe coming together. Really important time to boost the immune system. Using much more there's a favorable aspect for using intuition in November to a higher octave. It's really, at time you will feel overly stimulated by the collective, by social engagement, And it's really important just to learn how to replenish yourself, really important to move to generate more cardiovascular practices in November. Also, it's a really interesting month because luck, the aspect of luck is in the base of the month's chart. And luck means that there is opportunity when it comes to being of service for more people. That luck will benefit from movement, from flexibility, from more intent communication, more opportunity to communicate your service, communicate your passion about your vision and your services. And also the aspect of commerce, if you're dealing with product, that luck will benefit from products that are part of your service. That will be part of the experience of November. Now, as we're coming to a closure, December of 2022 will be silent time. It's internal, it's winter or the beginning of winter anyway. It's actually will be very beneficial to plan to take time alone to reevaluate, reassess your greater vision, to tweak things that need to be tweaked, and to also connect and acknowledge your teammates or the people around you. This time is really the time, the only time to kind of examine the details of the nuts and bolts of your master plan. It's because in the base of the months, there is the aspect of completion. So examining the details of how you did things so far and what needs to be tweaked and what we let go will be beneficial. And it's also, it's a good time to actually declare celebration of a milestone, of something that you completed and achieved. Any completion in general, when you have a 9 in any of the months, whether it's in your own chart or other people's chart, when you have that completion area, to declare completion will boost your energy field, will boost your ability to take on more or to take more diverse abilities to serve and work. So declaring completion is a practice that will be beneficial, especially in December of 2022. Again, that month is really a favorable month to go to do a retreat, maybe to even go with other people like-minded seekers, and to spend time together, acknowledging how far we have gone, how far we have accomplished things. So it's really a beneficial time to create an opportunity to basically come together with your comrades with your collaborators and celebrate. I'm not saying it just because it's December, it just happened to be that cycle. Key question to explore in 2022 is, are you operating from fear or love, inspiration? That 11 can be conflicting or it can be in a place of being inspired. Watch your self-doubt. Are you willing to go self-doubt? Get more on board with your own convictions. The other question is, what do you need to let go of the past and move vision, ideas, and plans forward? To move vision, ideas, and plans forward. Because attachment to past accomplishment, past people, past notions is in the way. It will be upgraded this year. It will be upgraded. So exploring it will be beneficial. A little bit this is like an extra taste about looking at this year from a Kabbalistic or from the tarot side of things, of symbolism. I'm just throwing this in. 2021 was ruled by the World card, which is the card that complete the major arcana, the major symbols of the tarot deck. It's coming to completion or coming to an end. When we look at 22 from that perspective, the Fool card is associated with two things, with completion and beginnings, new beginnings. It's inspiration in action while you're grounded. The pitfalls of the Fool card in the tarot is that our head is so much in fantasy that will trip over and not accomplish anything. So it can be somewhat of a lesson for the year, is like to be grounded, real, and offer service in a structure that is real, is inspired, has a dreaming aspect to it, but we're not living in a dream. We're making the dream functional and a reality. So to make a dream functional and a real reality, we need to create accountabilities and plans associated with it. The underneath or the influencing card of the year is the Lovers. And it's interesting because the Lovers numerically, the number 4 matters, +2, plus relationship, duality. Matter and duality create equilibrium, create opposite energies coming together, creating harmony before spirits. Or we can look at it as men, or the physical aspect of men, and the number 1, divine or spirit, create the sense of harmony and accomplishment in the eyes of the universe. And this is my conclusion. If you like to talk more about your own purpose or direction, schedule a call, free call with me, because you've been on this class live, and I would be more than happy to see if there's anything I can support you with. And I'm just going to pause this recording for any questions that you may have.